Hi, I'm Janice Pope, and I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. I cover all of North Carolina and half of Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia, and the eastern time zone of Tennessee. So I'm a StudioE, Blaine Quilting, Free Spirit, Henry Glass rep, and very happy to be here. I was trying to count how many markets I'd been to since they were saying this morning that it's been 40 years. I think I have been to close to 20 markets. So that's a lot of, you don't realize how much time has passed, but time has passed. Everyone is different, everyone is fun. This is one of the most fun parts of my job, is getting to come and see friends that I haven't seen in a long time. So I'm really happy that you're here. Thank you for coming to this schoolhouse, and I hope you will take something away that will help you in your business. So this is 9 simple secrets of success for shop owners. This is an excerpt of a 1-hour lecture that I did a couple of years ago. And I hope that I have not crammed so much in here you won't get frustrated. But I have 3 different sections, all of which have 9 points, in case you're counting. First of all, what are we selling? Just cogitate on that a moment, because I want you to think about it not in relation to commodities, but rather what the big picture is. Are we just selling fabric? No. Mostly, for most stores, we're selling an experience. We're selling entertainment. We're selling something to keep people coming back again and again. So what we do with our stores has become really, really important. So why are we doing this? Did you sign up to be an entertainer? I like to entertain, but that may not be what you were thinking about when you bought a quilt store or when you opened a quilt store. You may not have been thinking, do I really need to sing and dance every day? Well, kind of, you do. Today, social media is so important that getting rid of your fear of being in front of the camera is a real important thing. And the more you post, the more live videos you do, the better you'll get at it, and that whole fear thing will go away. I have a store in Cary, North Carolina, which is 30-40 minutes from where I live, who knew she needed to do Scott's challenge of a video. She waited until 2 days until the challenge was over before she finally did it. Did any of you see Cary Quilting's video? Well, she did a fantastic job. So as she went around the store, she had made these cute little letters, and as she showed you a different part of the store, she would point to the letter, and at the end it would spell out 2 words, and then they could use that as their promo code when they ordered online from her. And I thought, dadgum, that was really smart. She ended up coming in second. And her video was only done 2 days before the end of the contest. So I really, she's a good friend of mine. I said, gosh, I just wish you'd done it earlier. You would have won the contest. Because she just flew past all those other stores with that cute little thing. So you can come up with some kind of little gimmick, but the point of him doing that challenge is to get you to do video. Video is so important, and a lot of people are afraid of it. So my message to you is, don't be afraid of it. Go for it. Next question. What is our mission? What is so important to you that it keeps you staying in business? What is that one thing, that one important thing that you want to relay to your customers, that you care about them, that you care about their business, their private lives, whatever it is? And how do you measure authentic success? If you want to make money, You can go work for somebody else and get a paycheck and probably have insurance and benefits. Hello? You don't have to do what you're doing. So why are you doing it? What is so important? Figure out what that is and figure out how to do it the very, very best way you can. What if your number one goal was to delight your customers? You're in the right place being at Market, because on that floor down there and in these rooms right today are wonderful things for you to find and to take back to them. How many of you do a post-market reveal and show things that you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. That is a really easy event for you to do, and it gives your customers an experience that they may not have because they may never get to come to Market or festival. But you can take things back and have an event a couple of weeks from now that shows all the new things that you learned and all the new things that are going to be coming into the shop because you were here. When you have a clear mission, you have a better idea of how to woo your customers. Wooing is something that's done by a betrothed to the one they're betrothed to. If you think about your customers in that very intimate way, you want to create as many super fans as possible. So a fan is someone who might come to your store once a month, but a super fan is somebody who might come every week. And they talk about you when they go to visit their other friends. So I'm in 2 different Bs. One meets twice a month and the other one meets during the day, so I don't get to go very often. But I love to go to either one of these meetings and be the fly on the wall, zip the lip and listen. I hear so many things, and I hear where they're shopping. I was at so-and-so the other day. You know that girl blah, blah, blah? She was so rude. And it gets passed around. The good and the bad gets passed around that group. And as I say, I just keep my mouth shut because I don't want them to know how closely I'm listening. Anytime that you have what I call a weak link that is working for your store, you have the possibility of missing out on sales because somebody is not taking care of customers. And I assume most of you have staff. If you have staff, you have the possibility of having a weak link. And so how many of you are aware that the book that Scott released last week is his second book on blogs? Yes. So one of the things that he mentioned in that book is just cut the dead weight. Fire that person. It's hard to think about, but the truth is, if somebody is not being as kind, gentle, loving, outgoing as they need to be, just let them go. Unfortunately, in some stores, it's an employee, not just an employee, it's also a relative, but it doesn't matter. You need to do what's best for the store, and sometimes letting that weak link go is the right thing to do. So you have both internal and external customers. How many of you are aware of that? What do I mean by that? So you have customers who come shopping in your store, but then you also have your staff that probably purchases from you as well. So it is very important that you treat them, not the ones you're not firing. Treat them as gently and kindly as you possibly can, because they are your brand ambassadors that go out and see other people. And if people are in Bs, like my friends, they all go shopping. They come back and tell what happens. It seems like every visit they go somewhere, they come back and talk about it. So it's like your store has to be on all the time, and it has to be doing its best all the time. And that's tough, but that's just the way it is. So the attributes of a company that has a mission, this should be a place for personal growth. In other words, if your people are growing and they're learning to deal with customers better, they're learning to be better salespeople, they're learning to do the things that you want them to do, and that means you constantly interacting and retraining, then that is going to be a place where they can become better. And the better they get, the more they're going to feel good about working there and want to stay. You need to make sure that they're honest and that all of your dealings with your customers are all honest. Same thing with integrity. You cannot have too much integrity. So Scott's not in here, is he? No, good, okay. So he was in my last Schoolhouse. I talked about him anyway. I'll tell you a secret. So I've been working for Blank for 7 or 8 years. I've only been working for Scott like 5 or 6 years. And so one of the things that he told all of us after they bought Blank Quilting is how honest they were and how good their integrity was. And I heard what he said in one ear, but you know what was in my mind? I'm a Southerner. And I hear this fast-talking New York Jew, and what I thought was, you can go tell him, I don't care. And what I thought was, well, I hear you, but you're going to have to prove it to me because you seem like a real fast talker. And I just don't know if you really are as honest as what you're saying. I can tell you he is to the nth degree, and not just him, but Robert, his dad, and his brother Greg. These are people who really are as honest as what they say they are. And I've seen it in action over and over and over. And it makes me so happy and so proud to work for a company like that. And that's the way your people need to feel about working for you. And you need to impart to them what you expect of them. And the more higher that integrity is, the better they're going to feel about working for you and you having them work for you. And your customers are going to sense that, and they're going to feel that, and they're going to appreciate that. They know that they're going to get a fair deal every single time that they come to the store. And that is a fantastic thing for them to feel good about. Next is selflessly putting others first. This is something that if you do it over and over, they are going to feel it, they're going to know it, and they're going to feel good about it. So don't be afraid to be selfless with them. High expectations. You have to expect the best out of all of your workers, and you have to hope for the best out of all of your customers. I know there's going to be somebody that'll come back and say, oh gee, I got this fabric, but I found a flaw in it. Fortunately, with our companies, you will always get your credit back for any flaw that you find. But hopefully you're going to find it before they walk out the door. Compassion. Anytime you decide on a charitable item that you want to work on an event or a project, you tell your customers about it, they will get on board and they will want to help you with that. And everything that we do for charity is so, so important. It gets your customers feeling good about you. It gets them feeling good about contributing both their time, their money, their energy. And if you're not aware of all the charitable things that Scott and his family have done, it's all in the new book. It is amazing. And just reading that book, I got it on Tuesday. I finished it on Thursday before I flew out. And I was just so blessed by reading all the different ways that his family has contributed, not just to this industry, but to those in need. It's just an amazing thing. And your customers are going to want to get behind you and to help you be successful in that giving and donating. The same thing with the community. It might not be charity, but it might be a community-based thing. And keeping our promises. If you say you're going to do something, then always keep your word and do it, because your customers are going to notice, they're going to appreciate it, and they're going to back you up every time they can. And generosity. You can't be too generous. You can't, there's a saying that I've always heard, you can't outgive God. Everything you give will come back to you, usually multiplied, shaken down, filled up to the nth degree. You just can't outgive other people. So I like to keep the little acronym for checkmate in mind. So with your customers, Capture their attention, their email address, their birthday, anything about them when they come in the store for the first time. Get excited. Act like oh my goodness, it's a brand new customer. Hooray! Okay, let me sign you up for our e-newsletter. Tell me what your birthday is. You don't have to tell me the year, just the month and day. Get as much information from them as you possibly can. Have a class schedule to give out to them. Anything you can that's going to help them to interact. We've got a class going on next week. I have one opening left. Would you be interested in coming to that class? Everything you can to engage them, to get them signed up and coming back. Host. You cannot have too many events, so you want to be a wonderful host and hostess. So I won't tell you where this store is, but one of my friends, probably 7 or 8 years ago, was a Bernina ambassador, and she went to a store, and she was doing an all-day class training on this new machine. Obviously, it was a Bernina. So I've told you something. So the store was to provide lunch for everyone. This store owner baked potatoes, which is a great idea, with little things to put on top of the potatoes. She cut them in half before she gave them to the people. These were not big potatoes. We're not talking big potatoes. These were just regular potatoes. She cut them in half. And what she said was, don't y'all ever tell anybody this. She said, they don't need a whole one. Well, the teacher was appalled because she felt like they had not done their best to do a good job for that class. And I don't know what those people paid for that class, and I don't know who paid her to go and teach all day as a Bernina ambassador, but she was embarrassed because the store owner had not done a good job of taking care of that classroom and those people. And they just, they had some nice things to go on the potato, but there wasn't much potato. So be generous, be a wonderful host and hostess. And I know the stores that are great hosts and hostesses because when I go to them, before I can even set down my suitcase or find a chair, they're saying, Janice, do you need a drink? Would you like a soda? Would you like some water? Are you hungry? They're just fantastic. And I think, now this store knows how to take care of people. They know how to take care of people. And some of my customers are in there, and you've done this, and thank you, thank you, thank you. It makes a big difference. And I know that they're that generous with their own customers too. And it shows. Those little things make a big difference. Customer favorites. Strive to be your customer's very, very favorite store. And you want to create those super fans. Keep them coming back again and again. If you delight that customer at every visit, they are going to keep wanting to come back. And that's what you need for those dollars to keep growing. Measure, know your numbers, use a POS to track your trends. So pretty much, I guess, you have to have a POS for a year to be able to figure out, what was my best month last year? What did we do that month? It's analyze, analyze, analyze. Looking at just not only your profit and loss, but what manufacturer was your highest profit line, We want to be your highest profit line. And we offer specials, not necessarily with StudioE, but with Blank. We offer specials every month called the BBB. It's an opportunity for you to spend money and you to take that savings, and you don't have to pass it on to your customer, or you can if you want to. It's whatever you want to do. But that BBB is an opportunity for you to make that extra profit. You can ask your sales rep. We have the list down in the booth. And it's a special that's ongoing every single month. And right now we're doing it for 3 companies, Blank, Staff, and Staff of France, Le Quilt. So all it takes is you have to have the money to spend, and you can save money and then turn that into profit, extra profit for you. Treat your customers excellently so they keep coming back. Oh, I left out attract and keep new customers. Finding new customers is a real challenge, and that's why when somebody does come in who's new, you want to take super, super good care of them so that they will keep coming back. How many of you advertise, say, in a local newspaper? No, no, no. One. Anybody else? One. This is not something quilt stores do. But let me say, when you just will consider doing it once in a while, you will find new people. The reason is there are lots of new retirees popping up every day, and they're wanting things to do, and they may not know you exist. I made my first quilt in 1977. I did not find the Guild in my town until 2003. There were quilt stores in my town all those years. Never found them. Never knew they existed. Never drove by them. Didn't know they were there. Some of your best advertising is when you've got, the word sewing. I love Maytha's store. From a whole street away, you can glance over and you see a word. Is it quilts? You see the word quilts. It's like, oh, I got to turn in here. So anything you can do to help advertise, whether it be actual advertisement, radio advertisement. Who was here a year ago or so when I did, I played a radio commercial that a radio company had seen this store, saw the name, created the commercial, and then told her about it, and she has since bought and shared that commercial. Who was here? Sherry, Sherry baby. Yeah, the name of the store is Sherry's So What. Cute commercial. She did run the commercial eventually. So, and she finds people from the nearby city where it ran who have now found her store. She is in the middle of nowhere, y'all. The middle of, who ever heard of Henrico, North Carolina? It is like a half a mile from the Virginia border in the country. There ain't nothing else there. So her doing some radio advertisement was worthwhile. I would say if you are in her situation, you're not in a city, you're way back in the middle of nowhere, find a way to tell the public where you are. She has gotten so many people coming in to her store because of that little radio ad. Treat them excellently, I think I said that, and then ever generous. Givers are receivers. Being generous with others will pay you dividends in the long run. So everything you can do for your customers is going to bring them back to be customers in the future. Anybody have questions?